another noon Friday broadcast. My name's Stuart Brisgel, and my co-host and longtime friend, David Solomon. But he's hanging out in Montreal, left his Mickey Mouse ears in the purple room, and I'm sitting in my lovely office in Aventura, Florida. And David, today we're ranting about good old, I don't know, what do you want to call this? How do what
I
is
have
it?
a
Rules for me, not for thee.
yeah, part of that.
But it's a different spin. This isn't a political spin today. I think everyone's going to be surprised. This isn't about liberals, conservatives, Democrats, or Republicans. I think that's amazing that we found something, David, that you found something in the
Well,
news cycle that was non-political. But I think that at the end of the day, I think this is all about bullshit. But David,
yeah.
let me hear about gray hair.
Well, okay, so let's start from the very beginning. We've done non-political rants, right? We've talked about teachers and we've talked about, green energy, and we've talked about a lot of these things. And if you heard Monday, we had a great interview. We ran a great interview of the timing with our friend Sass Perez. A shout out to Lisa Albert, who is not happy that I'm about to do this simply because she wants to talk about another Trudeau scandal. But I'm going to leave that alone for a second. And I want to get back to a Trudeau scandal because there's nothing more fun than a Trudeau scandal that nobody wants to report about. What I want to talk about today, Stuart, the word you were looking for is hypocrisy.
There we go.
And I'll tell you a funny thing, right? Do you remember the time when we were kids and, our parents used to tell us, don't do this or do this. And then you turn around and they did it. And you used to go, what are you, a hypocrite? You've been telling me, do as I say, not as I do. Well, voila. Two incidents that popped up this week in the newsfeed. Well, not this week, just in the last 2 weeks, if you will. So in Canada, the Canadian television network, the largest one, CTV, decided this week to summarily dismiss its top anchor woman, Lisa LaFlamme, after so many years of working for the organization. I believe she's been there for 35 years. She had 2 years left on her contract. She's the number one anchor person in Canada. She draws the top viewers in Canada. She was the anchor woman since 2011. She took over from an aging Lloyd Robertson, who I'll get to in a moment. So when LaFlamme took over, she had dark hair. She's a nice-looking person. Now you're sitting here going, you're a sexist. You better believe I'm going down this road for a purpose, because she was fired this week because her hair went white. How old is LaFlamme? 58. Okay, I'm 52. I've got white hair. I would not get fired by CTV standards, but she did. Now, they're blaming toxic environment like Ellen DeGeneres' show and blah, 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 blah. But I've worked in newsrooms, Stuart. I've not worked I've worked in a newspaper, and newsrooms are generally high-pressured, almost toxic-like environments. Anyways, so you're showing, can you just, don't share your screen, please, for a second.
Well, that's Lloyd Robinson. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying Lisa LaFlamme has been amazing in terms of her role. Now, I don't agree with the stuff CTV does, but that's not the point of this whole thing. Her boss, a male guy, fired her, claiming it was a business decision. There are cutbacks happening in CTV. Now, I don't know about you, Stuart, but somebody who makes my company so much money, am I going to fire this person? Well, apparently she said, look, her hair started to go white right before COVID. We couldn't get haircuts. Unless you're Nancy Pelosi, you couldn't go to a hairdresser. So she let it go natural. And apparently that wasn't good enough for the woke CTV corporation. Now, all week the corporation's been lambasted by fellow media. And it's hilarious to hear, Stuart, because her hair came into question. And in 2022, to be this stupid and obvious. Now, here's the issue with LaFlamme. In the United States, if you get fired by one network, you can go jump to another network. Canada doesn't have that many national networks. We have 3. And the CBC, which is owned by the government of Canada. So you're down to 2. And when you go from the biggest player to the next guys, so now her income opportunity now is very, very limited. And so congratulations to CTV, who likes to tell us, and in numerous broadcasts, they talk about the poor women in Afghanistan, and they talk about the poor women in Canada, and they talk about all these things, and then they turn around and they end up firing her because of her white hair. Now, Stuart, could you put up a picture of Lloyd Robertson again?
I already got. Okay, put up Lloyd Robinson. Absolutely. Let me.
Okay, because I just want to show everybody what he looked like just before he retired, and this is the kind of thing that is kind of, going to pop up one of those pictures.
Which one?
The one on the right is good. That one right there. Pop that one up there, right? So let me just show you, and it's I know we're not doing the greatest job there, but that's what he looked like. He's a distinguished gentleman, there's no doubt about it, but white-haired and wrinkly. But Lisa LaFlamme doesn't have that right. Walter Cronkite went, also white-haired, that distinguished look. But a woman having white hair, apparently, according to the Canadian Television Network, or CTV, is an unacceptable thing for viewers. So, Stuart, strike one to woke for this.
Okay, listen. There has been a thing on national TV, especially the news. It doesn't matter how smart you are. Like the good old journalist guys, you had to be smart, you had to be witty before there were like super uber crazy prompters. Where today you just need to be good looking and read a teleprompter because what's between the ears they don't care about anymore.
No, it's not about. See, that's the thing. Amazing. The woke corporations are suddenly telling you, oh, by the by, you have to look good because that's primo numero uno.
You got to look fresh. You got to look this. I'm surprised they got rid of the great. Listen, if she's 50, what years old? She's 58. Gone great years before. She just stopped dyeing her hair.
You don't know that, Stuart. But the point of the Stuart, you don't know that. Sorry, you don't know. But it's irrelevant.
David,
it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Women, listen. The bottom line is, she looked old. She looked tattered.
She's
not in Miami.
No, Stuart,
she's off and put out to pasture.
Give me a break. No, you see, this is the stupid thing. Please, I beg you, because my computer is not working. Look up her picture, Stuart, and look at the picture, and you tell me she looks old and tattered. That's an asinine response. She's not old looking. She's not. Her name, Lisa LaFlamme from CTV News, is not, I will repeat, not old and tattered. Okay? And I think that that's the disgusting part, that CTV aired, that woke corporation suddenly showed its real thing, that it doesn't matter about woke. It matters about going broke, as we like to say. So look at the picture on the left, Stuart. And if you're going to tell me that that's a person who's old and tattered.
She looks like Connie Chung, actually, if you ask me. She's a white Connie Chung. Okay,
so there you go. And so please, and this was that original photo. That's her photo from a number of years ago. So she is aged. I don't want to go into this, but she's aged well. But yet,
I get it.
But CTV has decided that she's.
I get it, David. Listen, there was a thing back in the day where I'm going to bring up people's memories. The staff that work at Walt Disney are called cast members. Mm-hmm. The girls that work at Hooters are what? Actresses. Now, I'm telling you, CTV hired this woman. She's an actress. That's all she is. She is a talent, and they want a certain look. So I agree with you, Dave. I agree with you, David.
I disagree with you because you want to, Stuart. No, absolutely, you're absolutely
what?
Because I'll tell you why. And this is
any employee at Disney is a cast member.
No, Stuart. No, you see, the problem with your statement is that she's not a puppet. A person who has an anchor position. And it's not just Monsieur, Madame, Tout le Monde. It's actually a very difficult position because you have to.
She reads a teleprompter, David.
No, she has Stuart. While they have journalists and they have writers, she is she's a quasi news director. There is a major responsibility to it. It's not just read the news like a bunch of bimbos. I disagree with you. You're absolutely wrong in this case.
Oh,
the problem I have is that's
so when CTV spews tons of anti-Semitic, anti-racial stuff.
Stuart,
it's her as a broadcaster or them as a station?
Stuart. there is a there was a news director who guides things, and there's a news person who puts it together, but she is part of the journalism crew. She doesn't just read a teleprompter. It's not what you think it is. And I think that the responsibility is a heavy duty one. And this is exactly the problem, is that the person, this guy who, and I won't mention his name, this guy who fired her is talking like you. She should be a blonde bimbo with probably large breasts to go out and do this. And that's not it. This is not it at all. And you know what? These days of, it's fascinating. Serena Williams retires and she says, listen, I have to retire because I'm a woman and I want to be pregnant and I cannot do my job. That's a biological reality. There's a biological reality that men and women will age, but we've accepted men aging, as you've showed Lloyd Robertson. But a 58-year-old Lisa LaFlamme, who decides not to dye her hair anymore because COVID.
Well, listen, she did it respectfully. Listen, I'll be honest. Her colorist did a good job by blending her silver.
Stuart,
I'll be honest. They did a good job. I mean, David, she's close to your age.
But Stuart, the point of it all is, and you think you're funny, but you're showing our listeners and our viewers that this is the ignorance that we spew out. You're talking about a credible journalist. Whether I agree with her politics or not is irrelevant.
Well, it makes her credible then, if you don't agree with her. I'm just trying to understand.
Oh, come on. So she has to agree with me for her to be credible.
Well, no, I'm trying to get you to do another oxymoron, a point.
No, Stuart,
I get it, David. I'm trying to take the other side of the argument.
What you're doing is you're egging on the wrong argument. The argument here is, and again, I've said this from the very beginning of this broadcast. We've seen corporations like Nike, who just recently put out an ad about, celebration of motherhood and women. And yet they will not, if you're a pregnant woman and you have to stop competing, they won't pay you. I mean, we've seen Disney's ugly rearing head when it comes with woke. We've seen with Coca-Cola what it's done. We've seen Starbucks. We've seen all these other corporations. And finally, companies, and sorry, not companies, but people with their wallets are saying, hey, that's not right. What you're doing is completely BS. You're talking from both ends of your mouth. Ben & Jerry's, great example. You're talking from both ends of your mouth.
Oof.
Unilever.
Well, actually, Ben & Jerry's hang on. You bring Ben & Jerry's. Unilever caved to what was normal and logical. And then Ben & Jerry's doubled down by suing the parent company for going against it. So,
but Unilever, but this is my point, is like you're talking about woke corporations who sit there and want to pontificate and tell you how to run your life and how life should be run, and they know better than you and I, and then they turn around and do the exact same thing. Unilever called out on Ben & Jerry's, who said, Ben & Jerry's says, we're not a racist. We just, we don't agree with it. So you boycott is a racist move. It's hypocrisy. And Unilever said, we can't do that. That is hypocrisy. It is the exact same thing here at CTV and at Nike and at Coca-Cola and all these other organizations who consistently want to tell you and me that the way to run our lives is we know better. And guess what? These are the guys on the left, on the hard left, who want to tell you and me how to run our lives. And then they turn around when it comes up to something they don't like. All of a sudden, it's justified. And CTV has been nothing but standing behind the decision to fire a woman who let her hair go white. That
silver, David.
Silver. Excuse me. But the thing is, according to the reports, they didn't like her white hair. Call it whatever you want. And my grandmother she used to call it silver. Okay.
Let's call it silver.
But it's really, really sad that we in 2022, with all this advancement with women have been pushing for, it continues to rear its ugly head again and again. The woke corporations who want to show how cool they are, they're not changing. They're bullshit. They haven't changed at all. They're the same thing. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing yet again. Stuart, it sucks. But the woke should learn, just shut up.
Yep. On that note, David, it's that time.
Yeah, it's that time again. So we'll wish you guys all a fantastic weekend. We love you. We love your support. Sorry, Lisa Albert, I didn't rant about what you wanted about the RCMP, but We'll get to it. Don't worry. Wishing everybody a wonderful weekend. Stay well, stay safe, and we'll see you on Monday.